Native Americans and their right to equality. Native American diversity. Native Americans have a rich culture that can be misunderstood without the proper knowledge. 9% of South Dakota's population is made up of Native Americans, and that's compared to the nationwide average of about 2%. 2% of the nation is Native American, but South Dakota is 9% Native American. Now, this is important to me because I live in South Dakota. This is kind of why I've chose this as a topic, because I do have Native American students, and it's kind of important to understand this diversity and some of the misfortunes that they kind of go through on a daily basis. So these types of discriminations that were seen in a 2019 study. So first of all, more than 1 in 5 Native Americans, or about 23%, reported experiencing discrimination in clinical encounters. 15% avoid seeking health care for themselves or family members at all because of that anticipated discrimination. So they are noting that they are seeing some in the medical field. These are just a couple other percentages that were taken from a report that I found. 38% note that they or family members have experienced violence. 34% report some type of harassment or threats. Native Americans are 19% less likely than whites to have a college degree, and Native Americans are 36% less likely than whites to live in a community that is predominantly their own race. So those are four big statistics that kind of stood out to me in my research. I also took some testimonials from a qualitative study that were pretty powerful and I think need to be mentioned. In South Dakota, you have license plates where you can tell what county you come from. So like I said, I'm from South Dakota. It's the first 2 numbers on the license plate that you can see. So if you're in the reservation, you have a special license plates. There have been times when we have been been pulled over specifically because we had number 65 at the first 2 on the license plate. There was one time when we were pulled over 10 times in one day. Here's another testimonial. We went to eat at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and this gal was sweeping our area where I was eating with my kids. She said, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Eagle Butte." She was like, "Oh, well, you are here for the rummage sale?" I said, "No, we are here for dental appointments." "Oh, people who usually come from Eagle Butte are here for rummage sales." She goes on to talk about this in the study, but she said she basically had to explain to her daughter who was eating with her that this was wrong and that she was actually being discriminated in this situation. Last testimonial here. My daughter married a non-native in 2008. To this day, my family refuses to accept her. We grew up with these families, but we didn't know how they felt about us. Too bad your son fell in love with my Indian daughter. Okay, here are just some methods of anti-discrimination, some things that we should look for. Electing minorities into council positions. It helps those parts of those cities. Most notably, it says it increases employment in city jobs if you increase those minorities. Learning about Native American history and culture can open your eyes to discrimination. There's a lot about the culture that I didn't know before I took a class at Augie, and that's just a required course at the colleges in South Dakota, or at least in Sioux Falls. Buying native products can increase the flow of currency in their communities. That can also help them out if you are buying their products. Here are my references.